I think it's safe to say that Starfield looks awesome. And that's coming from someone who was never really super into Bethesda RPGs. You know, I grew up in the 360 era, so I dabbled with the Fallout and Elder Scrolls games, but they never really grabbed me. I've been meaning to go back and try them again, but this game honestly looks amazing, like way better than I was expecting it to at the Xbox Showcase last weekend. And regardless of what you think about how the game looks or how you personally feel about it, the game is going to be a huge seller. It's already a top seller on Steam. The pre-orders for the physical deluxe edition sold out in like 2 days. And with how much hype there is around the return of single-player Bethesda RPGs, especially one that looks this promising, it's going to be a huge financial success, no way around it. And the fact that the financials of this game are even the topic of conversation is kind of just indicative of how backwards a lot of people online seem to think about the video game industry nowadays. But that being said, the other day, it was reported that Phil Spencer has confirmed that Starfield will indeed make money.
What? You don't say. You don't say. You don't say!
Now, before you jump on Phil Spencer for saying this out of the blue, or like, why would Phil Spencer say that? I should point out that he didn't say it out of the blue as much as the headline would like you to think he did. Like, seriously, this is a god-awful headline. What happened was Phil Spencer was deliberately asked about Xbox's money-making strategies and what that looks like, to which he responded very elaborately. Quote, let's say we're going to ship Halo 2, and we're not shipping it on Nintendo, we're not shipping it on Sony. Nobody ever asked me how does the profit and loss for this game work when you're not selling it everywhere you can sell it. What you did on old school consoles is you said, how many consoles are you going to sell because Halo 2 launches, how long will those players stay on the platform, and how many games will they buy, and does that make it more cost effective to keep the game exclusive to your platform? When I look at Game Pass, we are absolutely going to make money on Starfield, touch wood, that's the plan. And we will grow Game Pass, and Xbox will be a better platform both on PC and console. For us, it's about expanding our platform reach, and we think important games like Starfield will be catalysts for Game Pass growth on many different platforms. Now, how you could read any of that and get angry is beyond me, but then again, it is the current year. And I think his answer there was actually really interesting. It's not just that Starfield is going to sell really well, which it is. Again, the game's been at the top of Steam charts for a while now, which, like, at this point, you could sell the game on PC alone and probably turn a profit, but that's besides the point. It's not just the game sales, it's the Game Pass subscribers, it's the ongoing money they make from that, it's the console sales, it's how much money they're going to generate from the people buying the console then buying Game Pass, buying the console and Game Pass and some games, and all the fucking people buying the collector's edition. Like, Starfield is going to be a massive revenue generator for Xbox, no way around it. They're going to make a lot of money off of this. And truth is, a lot of people have been very angry that Starfield looks as good as it does for some reason. Be it because people just don't like Xbox, or they're skeptical of anything Xbox puts their names on, which, you know, well, fair enough for that one these days. I can't deny I'm the same way in that regard. If Xbox puts their label on anything, I'm instantly suspicious of it. But the animosity towards this game on Twitter has gotten very, let's say, interesting. And I think it's safe to say a lot of this comes from the PlayStation side of the aisle, because really what other explanation is there for the kind of nonsense that I'm about to show you? Because this tweet, this simple tweet, just pointing out the obvious that Starfield is going to make money, this really pissed some people off, and there's really only one demographic of gamers that you can rely on to get angry whenever Phil Spencer says something positive about his business. So I guess sorry in advance if you're in this video and you're not a PlayStation fanboy. Maybe if you didn't act like a PlayStation fanboy, I wouldn't make that mistake. And I only add that disclaimer because every once in a while I have people tweet or comment on videos like, why the fuck am I in this video about PlayStation fanboys? And it's like, bro, to quote MXPX, the answer is in the question. The fact that Phil Spencer simply saying a major Bethesda RPG is going to make money, like, the fact that that statement alone was enough to rustle people's jimmies is honestly just depressing at this point. But then again, console war is gonna console war, and PC is gonna sit there in a comfy chair and watch with snacks and coffee. So how much is the cost of Starfield development? Lol, Xbox claiming the game will make profit and they don't know the cost. Because apparently Phil Spencer is an Xbot? Question mark. I also love this. Xbots don't even know the cost. Okay, do you know the cost? Like, you don't have the information either. And also, the information that you're responding to, in case you weren't aware of your own actions online, you're responding to Phil Spencer. Like, Mr. Xbox. If Phil fucking Spencer is confident that the game is going to be a financial success, I think it's safe to take his word for it. But that's also ignoring the fact that this is a Bethesda RPG. Do you know how many fucking copies Skyrim sold? You know how many fucking copies Fallout 4 sold? And you know how many copies those games continue to sell every single year because they have ongoing communities? Starfield isn't going to be like a few million people buy it on launch day and then that's it. This looks like a true return to form Bethesda RPG. And Bethesda RPGs sell really, really well over time. Assuming this game is business as usual for Bethesda, which we have every reason to believe it will be, this game is going to sell tremendously. Budget be damned at this point. It looks pretty low budget compared to a lot of AAA games, so it probably will. Yeah, no, it looks low budget. Looks pretty low budget to me. Just looks very basic, very simple. I mean, it's basically just Binding of Isaac graphics, you know? Volgar the Viking. Fuck, you're dumb. As long not on Game Pass. There were a few people doing this routine. Here's another one. So not day and date on Game Pass? Like, there's a lot of people that seem to think it's just impossible for games to be profitable or to be financially successful if they're on Game Pass. Which, like, if that were the case, if Game Pass were just a money hole that no one made profit off of, why would Xbox keep doing it? But also, tell me you didn't read the article without telling me you didn't read the article. Phil Spencer literally straight up says that it's not just about Game Pass, it's about console sales and ongoing revenue of the people on those consoles who buy consoles for Starfield. And also, this is excusing the fact that, again, top seller on Steam. #1 seller on Steam. Look at this. Oh, Lost Ark? Really? Lost Ark is number 2? I mean, fucking GG's, I guess. But right now, June 14th, Starfield is the #1 paid game on Steam, and it's not out for another, 3 months. Why is it so unfathomable to believe that Phil Spencer expects this game to be financially successful? You don't even have to wait for the game to come out. We already know it will be. Phil Spencer is just pointing out the obvious. I hope they don't. That's a piece of shit game. Really? This is where we're at now. We're going back to the 2005 insults of your Xbox game is shitty. It's not out, but it's shitty. It shouldn't make money. It's shitty. Nyeh. When they release it on other platforms. Yes, because Starfield isn't going to make money until it's released on the PlayStation. Oh my god. I don't understand people who are like, yes, Sony's business model of releasing games only on PlayStation, that is such a good business model. But releasing games on Xbox and PC, that can't possibly be successful. They won't make money until it's released on other platforms. Not to keep repeating myself, but it is the top paid game on the biggest PC distribution site in the world, and it's not even out yet. Also, reminder that the physical collector's edition, that is sold out. It's sold out almost immediately, and once they restock, it will again sell out immediately. Even if Game Pass wasn't a factor, this game is going to sell very well. I know it's hard for you to wrap your head around the fact that there are other platforms than PlayStation that are doing fine financially, but Starfield is going to succeed. I don't know what to tell you. This game won't even sell 3 million. Their business model is crazy to me. I really hate modern gaming discussion. This game won't even sell 3 million. Are you aware of how many games even make it to 3 million a year? It's a handful. It was just a few weeks ago that Square Enix was celebrating 1 million sales for Octopath Traveler 2. 1 million was a cause for celebration. This is such a perpetually AAA mindset. This is a mindset you only see from people who only play AAA games. It's unless a game sells 10 million copies, it was a failure. 1 million copies was a cause for celebration. Also, in July of 2021, Sony confirmed that Returnal sold about 500,000 copies and Ratchet & Clank sold 1.1 million, and those were considered successes for them. But here you are, it's not even going to sell 3 million. It's not even going to sell triple of Ratchet & Clank? Question mark? And even if that were true, that's what you're sticking with? I just hate how jaded people are nowadays regarding copies sold of games, because even if it was 3 million copies, even if Starfield hit 3 million, that'd be a success. Obviously 3 million would be a disappointment for this game specifically, but I just hate how people are so dismissive of games selling multiple millions of copies. Oh my god, have some perspective, fuck. Looks like a future-based Red Dead Redemption ripoff. Because Red Dead Redemption is an RPG. What? And even if that were true, are you kidding me? You wouldn't want that? Even like you're telling me you wouldn't want Red Dead Redemption in space? Even if that was an accurate description of Starfield, you're telling me you wouldn't want Red Dead Redemption in space? Fucking what? It just makes me laugh how eager people are to dismiss Starfield before it even comes out, even when all of the evidence is right in front of you that this game is going to be a big deal. For like the 7th time, collector's editions sold out immediately. Top paid game on Steam, and it's not out for another like 2.5, 3 months. And it's only going to heat up from here. And if you're a Sony person, like, I get that, I totally sympathize with the disappointment that this game's not coming to PlayStation. Because, you know, if you were a fan of Bethesda RPGs, if you were a big Skyrim, big Fallout player, but then you got the PS5, I can totally understand why it would be disappointing for Starfield not to be coming to the PS5. But on the flip side, if Starfield does really well on the Xbox, and proves that there is a big market for elaborate RPGs like this on the consoles, like first-party RPGs like this. Basically, if Xbox proves that they are willing and ready to compete with their first-party games and they have some heavy hitters, that means your first-party games are going to get better. You realize that, right? When it comes to the first-party console exclusive market war thing, Sony has basically just been doing whatever they want and succeeding because Xbox has been sitting on their hands and shitting out things like Redfall and Halo Infinite. Microsoft's first-party output has been embarrassing this console generation, whereas Sony has basically just been coasting by doing the same thing they've been doing for the last decade. I understand people like Sony's gameplay structure and their gameplay formula, but that's exactly what it is. It is a formula, and they're never going to stray from it until Xbox shows they're willing to actually stand up and compete on their level. So be happy that Starfield's doing well, especially since there's, 1.5 million rumors going around that it's going to come to PlayStation eventually anyways. Frankly, I would be shocked if the game doesn't come to PlayStation after a year or year and a half. And like, yeah, I'm right there with you that it should be on PlayStation. I see no reason why it can't be on PlayStation other than, you know, Microsoft paid for it. But if Sony's going to get overly aggressive with their first-party exclusives, you can't be surprised when Xbox does the same thing, but you also need to realize that this is a good thing for everyone. The big companies in gaming actually putting effort into their projects and putting out great products, that's going to force everyone to be better. And frankly, Sony needs that right now. Exclusives are dumb. They will always be dumb. But you know what's dumber? Declaring a game like Starfield to be a financial disappointment or financial failure before it's even out, and all the while it's topping sales charts with pre-orders. Go outside, get some sun, and if you really want to play Starfield and don't want to get an Xbox, which I super don't blame you, just stroll down to Best Buy, get yourself a PC. Because despite this game being 30 FPS on Xbox, the system requirements for PC are not actually that high, which is confusing to me. But I mean, if more people get to play it, fantastic. Anyways, toodles.